Hey everyone, someone asked what would happen if everybody started getting rich off of their Bitcoin investments. Would that not cause inflation throughout the entire economy? If you think about it, during the 2008 recession, the Federal Reserve printed, the total sort of money in circulation. The M1, I think, money supply was like $2 trillion and they doubled it to like $4 trillion. There's a bunch of different measures of money. So the question is, well, who got that extra $2 trillion? And the answer was that bankers and insurance companies and basically all the people who had taken too much risk as a result of the Fed keeping interest rates too low in the early to mid 2000s, all of those people got huge bailouts. So a huge amount of money got pushed into the economy, and the purchasing power of those people went up first. Now, eventually, all of that money is going to cause inflation, but it causes inflation for other people later. So whoever is the closest to the money printer gets the most benefit from new purchasing power, and whoever is farthest from the money printer gets the least benefit from the new purchasing power. Let's assume that the government, instead of giving all that to, trillions of dollars to bankers and insurance executives who took too much risk, in a lot of ways it was not their fault. They took the risk based on low interest rates and cheap credit, and the Federal Reserve was the one responsible for that, the low interest rates and cheap credit. So essentially they got, enticed into their behavior. There was still bad behavior, but a lot of it was also sort of enticed into. But anyway, let's assume that the government instead decided that I was the person who should hand out the $2 trillion instead of, bankers and insurance company executives and all that sort of stuff. And let's assume that they did that secretly, of course, because nobody wants to know that I'm the one who's got the $2 trillion that the government gave me. 2008 rolls around, they give me $2 trillion. And they say, Joel, we need you to get this, this money out into the economy. Go spend it as fast as you can. Well, initially, none of the prices are going to increase because nobody knows that this money is basically magic funny money that got printed out of thin air. So for a little while, I get to go buy stuff at the old prices. But then over time, as I empty out the store shelves and I buy stuff and all of that, over time what happens is the prices start rising for everyone. So the people who are then spending the money I gave them to buy their stuff, they have to buy things that are a little bit more expensive. And then the people who get the money sort of the third hand have to buy things that are even more expensive than that. And it's like a ripple effect. So when you throw a big rock into a lake, the biggest effect is closest to the impact of the rock, and then it ripples out, but the farther you get from the rock, the less effect. So it works the same way with purchasing power. If you drop a bunch of new money into an economy or give it to a bunch of bankers or insurance executives or whatever, they are going to start with the most purchasing power. And the purchasing power they get is being essentially pulled in from the poorest people who are going to get the money last.